following program is intended for mature audiences.
I'm going to be honest with you, bro.
I'm going to beat up John Cena.
Oh, it's a great idea.
So who the hell do you think you are?
I was going to dress up like Bruce the Barber Beefcake, cutting and strutting, and then I was going to beat up John Cena. Wonderful. I mean, come on. What's more fun than beating up John Cena?
Suplex City, bitch.
Beat up John Cena!
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
And welcome once again to the Weekly Suplex. I am Brian Thomas, joined as always by Juice Springsteen. And today we have special guests, Jay on the phone here. Jay, how you doing?
I'm doing good, fellas. Thanks for having me on.
Awesome. Well, like I said at the beginning of this podcast, I wanted to try and get other people to come in and kind of do a panel discussion on our two topics. So Jay had informed me he was available this week. So I told him, come on down. So here he is. Juice, how you doing this week?
Pretty good. It's better than having Matt Presto on because he's not on.
Well, I invited him too, but apparently he's busy with his gal, so.
I'm sure
he's on vacation. I'm like, it's the perfect time for you to come on. No, I got something to do with my girl.
No,
okay, fine.
Hey, just for the record, I always have opinions and listen to the show all the time. I'm just not always available. But believe me, I'm talking along with you guys the first 3 weeks.
Jay's at his house yelling at us for getting it wrong, right, Jay?
Oh, of course, probably.
All right, this week on the show, we're going to talk about two big topics here, and it's almost getting redundant. Every week we talk about the new Fox News. Well, the Fox deal information came out, the USA deal information came out in an article by the Hollywood Reporter, so we'll discuss what it looks like they're going to be getting for totals here on the deal for the TV for Raw and SmackDown, kind of break that down a little bit. And then, of course, the main topic of this week I wanted to cover is the co-branded pay-per-views. We're, 2 weeks away, I believe, from Backlash. So this will be the first... What's that?
Money in the Bank.
Money in the Bank, my gosh. Yes, 2 weeks away from Money in the Bank.
You're going back in time, man.
I want to because it was so bad. But Money in the Bank, 2 weeks away. So this will be the first time where the two brands come together other than outside the major shows, which was WrestleMania. And everything going forward will now be both Raw and SmackDown. And I think that's kind of interesting. The other news was that they told the cable providers that they will go in a 4-hour window, not necessarily use all 4 hours, but they're going to lock off a 4-hour window with pay-per-view companies so that they can, if they need to, have the option to go longer, which in a sense is a brilliant move because, what if you have another This Is Your Life segment that goes, 10 minutes too long and you don't have to push anything this way. But anyway, so we'll get into that as well. But, of course, as always, let's go over our Raw and SmackDown results for this week. So, Juice, will you do the honors of reading our Raw results?
Actually, I was going to do the SmackDown. I was going to see if you wanted to switch it up this week. You want to do Raw?
Well, that sounds great. I will do Raw then. All right, Raw, cool. Which was a very bad show, was consisting of Braun Strowman defeating Finn Balor by DQ. The highlight of the Braun Strowman-Finn Balor thing was not that it was as good as the match was last week, because it wasn't, but the fact that Finn Balor came out and slapped Braun Strowman in the face for calling him a little man, telling him he's pretty good for a little man, and then slapped him. That was fun. Otherwise, the rest of it was forgettable. Jinder Mahal defeats Seth Rollins by DQ in an IC title match. Nia Jax and Ronda Rousey have a contract signing for their match at Money in the Bank featuring Stephanie McMahon. Much better than what they have been doing lately. Still nothing good. Oh, actually, I'm sorry. That was last week, the contract signing. This week, it was Nia beating up some no-name in front of Ronda Rousey, who was at the announcer desk, and kind of mocking her, and then having a little stare down. And laughing in her face, which I thought was actually really good. This was probably their best segment that they've had so far in this feud. Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt defeated the Ascension. The B team had a barbecue. The purpose of the barbecue was to try and convince the other teams on Raw to give them the first shot at the tag titles. That didn't go so well. Kevin Owens defeated Bobby Roode. Sami Zayn had an apology segment with Bobby Lashley. Drew McIntyre defeated Chad Gable. And Sasha Banks won the women's gauntlet match to get the final spot in the women's Money in the Bank match. The other contenders were Bayley, Liv Morgan, Sarah Logan, Ruby Riott, Mickie James, and then, of course, Sasha Banks. Money in the Bank, as it stands right now, after Raw, is Kevin Owens versus Bobby Roode versus Braun Strowman versus The Miz versus Rusev versus Finn Balor versus a still unyet named New Day member. The women's Money in the Bank is now all set. We have Alexa Bliss versus Ember Moon versus Charlotte Flair versus Natalya versus Lana versus Naomi versus Sasha Banks and versus Becky Lynch. That is the Raw results. Like I said at the beginning, the show was awful. Not a whole lot of redeeming qualities on it, I don't think. So let's talk SmackDown. What happened on SmackDown, Juice?
Let's talk SmackDown. Shinsuke Nakamura defeated Ty Dillinger, the Perfect 10, via pinfall. There was a dance-off that we didn't win. No one won. Everybody lost. Lana and Naomi. Rather just not discuss that at all. The Miz and The Bar were defeated by the New Day, which I thought was an enjoyable match. Asuka defeated Mandy Rose via submission. Samoa Joe enters the Money in the Bank match by defeating Daniel Bryan and Big Cass. So with that, the Money in the Bank is Kevin Owens, Bobby Roode, Samoa Joe, New Day member, not named Finn Balor, Rusev, and The Miz, with Braun Strowman as the big catalyst there, or the odd man out. Well, he could be a catalyst if he starts throwing ladders as the match begins. And the women's is still Alexa Bliss, Ember Moon, Charlotte Flair, Natalya, Lana, Naomi, Sasha, and Becky Lynch.
All right, so nobody wins on the Naomi Lana thing. I won. I'm just going to say that and leave it at that. But I really enjoyed SmackDown much better than Raw myself. I thought Shinsuke and Ty had a fun little encounter. I thought the New Day versus The Miz and The Bar was pretty good. I thought Mandy Rose put up a good fight against Asuka and actually looked pretty decent in this match. I liked how they told that story. And, of course, Samoa Joe versus Daniel Bryan versus Big Cass, while it wasn't a barn burner, it was fun for what it was, and I think that the right guy won. So I thought SmackDown head over everything else was better than anything Raw had.
I agree with that wholeheartedly. So I'm still interested whenever SmackDown goes to Fox, what kind of changes they're going to have. I guess we'll get to that, but to see, I don't know, I feel like the likes of Roman Reigns and some of these top guys are going to start going to SmackDown because it's going to be on the network, on the bigger network. So
yeah, that's the talk out there, is that when SmackDown goes to Fox, is that's going to become the quote A show, because it's the over the air network one, and that may be true. I don't know. I'm with you guys. SmackDown was much better than Raw. I'm thankful that I got to watch the Hulu cut of Raw, so some of it was much shorter, if not less painful. I didn't get to see the barbecue. I had to go to the YouTube for that. But to borrow a line from Sum 41, it's a lot of filler and very little killer, fellas, right now. We're just kind of wasting time until this next pay-per-view event.
I agree with that wholeheartedly. You get this little downtime, and I mean, we had a little bit of downtime, or barely any downtime between Backlash, WrestleMania, Greatest Royal Rumble, everything in there, and the UK tour. And now they've got a little bit of time to rest, and hopefully that means a better Money in the Bank card, which Money in the Bank has generally been the better pay-per-view. Some saying it taking over the fourth spot in the Big Four over Survivor Series. So hopefully the time difference change helps.
It definitely could be. I'm just going to put this out there, though, because I know I won't be on the show for the preview of the Money in the Bank show. But, the least interesting match going into Money in the Bank for me is Bobby Lashley and Sami Zayn. I could not possibly attempt to care about that at all. How do you guys feel about that? Because two things there. They should not let Bobby Lashley ever talk, ever.
Ever.
But what's the draw there? You made fun of my sister, so I'm going to kick your butt. Well, were we in the fifth grade? I mean, I know wrestling kind of plays to that. I mean, as a TV show, though, why do I care about these two guys going against each other? There's nothing. It's filler.
I'm going to use a line from my good friend John from the old Daily Suplex days. This is your bathroom match. Any match that Lashley's in. Heck, I skip any segment that Lashley's in most of the time because I find him completely boring and uncharismatic and everything else. And I know a lot of people thought he did really good in Impact. I didn't like him there either. He just doesn't do anything for me as a wrestler. He looks weird. He doesn't wrestle well. I never got it.
What do you mean he looks weird?
He looks like a baby. Doesn't he? I mean, he looks like a real baby-faced kid.
Just because he's clean-shaven, or...
He looks like a big upside-down triangle.
You know what? That might be a good idea. That might be a good idea, Dan. Give him some facial hair or something to get that baby. He's got a real young baby-looking face, and I can't take him seriously. He looks like a jacked-up baby.
Yeah, it's the voice. It's the voice. You got to let somebody else talk for this guy. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You got to have some other person. And, Brian, once again, you keep mentioning this Dan character. I don't know who you're talking about.
Someday I'll get it right.
Maybe.
I doubt it.
Yeah,
I don't know. You're botching it about like Lashley does all of his moves. So, but at least you're not hurting anyone.
But he can hold a guy in the air for a long time and then drop him on his head.
Yeah. I'm sure the guys that get concussed C3s really appreciate that. Yeah. He and Ryback can go have drinks after the match and talk about that.
Yeah, I'm with you too. This feud's been stupid from the start. I don't get it. I don't understand it. They don't really give you any context to why Sami Zayn's so pissed off at Bobby Lashley. And I just don't care, I just don't care. I like Sami Zayn, but this whole storyline that he's pushing has bored me to tears. To the point where I didn't even watch the apology.
Do we think that it's just a filler for Sami, or is it something to give Bobby, to put Bobby over, or... You think Bobby with another person might be better, or they just don't know what to do with either of these guys?
They're trying to put Bobby over.
Yeah.
I'm with you there. They needed to get Sammy away from Kevin for 5 minutes because they've played that for a long time, and they'll get them back together again because it's good TV when they're together. But you can't do that all the time, so they're gonna break that up. So and look, Sammy will make somebody look good while putting them over, and so they're gonna let him do it, and he'll get in there and. He'll get a couple moves in, and then Lashley will hold him in the air for 12 seconds, and there'll be a count in the crowd, and then that'll be it. It's like watching a less interesting, more triangular Goldberg match almost.
Yeah, I just think that the whole point is to give Lashley someone who will make, like Jay said, make him look good in the ring and get him over. And I don't know, man. I remember back when the original Bobby Lashley experiment was going on, and he was ECW champion and stuff. And sometimes I can get behind him as a heel character, but as a babyface, he's already got a babyface look. Drives me nuts. I swear I'm looking at, like, have you seen Boss Baby? Like, put a jacked up body on Boss Baby. That's Bobby Lashley.
I did not think we were going to reference bad movies in addition to bad television tonight, fellas. But all right, we're right in my alley. Yeah,
I got kids.
Who are you, Heath Slater?
Yeah.
Yep.
Not as many as him apparently, but I have kids. I don't get the Bobby Lashley thing either. Let's talk about this Fox thing and the USA thing. The details have kind of come out on Fox's push to get SmackDown. Apparently, what had happened in all the negotiation was that there was a deadline for USA to claim exclusivity rights on all WWE content, and that timeline came and went without an offer, and because of that, USA was then had to tell WWE that they can shop around SmackDown, which worked for them because they were already looking to pay a lot of money for Raw, and I don't think they wanted to pay a lot more for SmackDown because currently the deal is set where they're paying $130 million a year for both shows, while they're going to pay for Raw almost three times that. I think it came out to around 200. Well, no, not three times, but around $260 million a year for Raw alone. So if they had to get SmackDown too, they were looking at least three times to pay for both TV shows' rights. So because of that, they let it go. Fox knew about the situation. They knew about the date, and they called Triple H and McMahon's to kind of get them to come in so they could pitch an idea